Okay, let's start with a scenario that probably makes your blood pressure spike just thinking about it.
Yeah.
You have major, absolutely non-negotiable family event next month.
Mm.
You look at the hospital rota, and the service is, well, it's already running on fumes.
Mm.
Clinic capacity is stretched, but, technically, safety levels are being met
Mm-hmm.
for now. You need that specific day off. But you absolutely cannot risk destabilizing the team or, let's be honest, getting on the wrong side of the rota coordinator.
And that tension is exactly it. That's the central conflict. The MSRA situational judgment test, the SJT, just loves to exploit. It's a really high-stakes professional dilemma, and, a lot of candidates score poorly because they go for these short-term fixes instead of thinking about long-term professional safety.
And that is our mission for this deep dive. We're going to get right into your SJT revision material, focusing specifically on how you navigate flexible working and maintain that work-life balance using the official guidelines.
The GMC and NHS policies, yeah.
Exactly. We want to arm you with the critical mindset and the specific actions that are going to score you the highest marks every single time.
Absolutely. And this goes so much further than just, managing your holiday calendar. This is about adhering to professional standards.
Yeah.
SJT is testing whether you can prioritize your own well-being, not as some kind of luxury, but as a risk mitigation strategy. Because fatigue drives clinical error.
Right.
If you handle this badly, patient safety is compromised, and your professional integrity gets called into question.
That immediately reframes the whole topic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So let's anchor this, because work-life balance can sound a bit like, corporate jargon.
It can.
But in a clinical setting, it has a very specific professional definition that's all about safety.
It does. And what's fascinating is how that definition is built entirely around safe service delivery. In this context, work-life balance means achieving a sustainable workload and predictable rest. And you do that through proactive planning, setting boundaries, and using formal, flexible working rules. But, and this is crucial, the outcome must always be maintaining safe staffing levels.
So if your request for rest makes the service unsafe,
then the request itself is professionally flawed. It's not a personal favor. It's a governance issue tied to risk management.
which brings us straight to the ultimate authority here,
Yeah.
the GMC. What does Good Medical Practice 2024 say about our duty to request rest?
Well, the GMP is crystal clear. It requires doctors to work within competence and capacity.
Right.
And critically, to raise concerns if safety is at risk. Your duty to flag inadequate staffing is directly linked to your duty to manage your own fatigue.
So if you're burned out, you're not working within your capacity.
You're arguably not. And you risk breaching your duties by practicing while impaired. That's the core of it.
That's a huge shift in perspective, but let me ask the tough question. If I'm a junior doctor trying to request flexibility from a really busy, probably overworked rota coordinator, isn't there still this huge pressure to just keep quiet?
There is pressure, of course, but the SJT rewards you for using the system correctly. It
Yeah.
wants to see you using the policies, not fighting them. And speaking of the system, there's a crucial lever here that you absolutely must know about.
I found this in the source material, and it was a real aha moment for me. The day one right to request flexible working.
Absolutely. That is a key policy fact for the exam and for your career. You are entitled to ask from your very first day.
Okay.
The SJT is assessing if you know this right exists, and more importantly, if you use it fairly, transparently, and with the proper plan.
And if it's denied,
Then the employer has to give a justifiable business-based reason that protects you from just, an arbitrary no.
that makes the why for the exam so clear. It rewards proactive, fair planning, because that's what prevents last-minute crises. Okay, let's unpack this then. What's the best approach in an SJT context? We need a high-yield framework, the exact sequence of actions that gets the points.
Right. The high-scoring candidates, they don't rush. They follow a very specific professional checklist. It really follows a clear first, then next, then last sequence. So, first, your foundational move has to be planning. You plan your annual leave or request rest early.
How early are we talking?
As early as possible. The further out you plan, the higher you score, because you're giving the system the maximum time to adjust safely. You're reducing that last-minute risk.
Okay, so early planning is foundational. What's next in the SJT mindset?
Next is about transparency and providing a solution. You arrange equivalent skills-matched cover, and you do it transparently.
So you need a mitigation plan.
Exactly. You can't just drop the problem on the rota coordinator. You have to say, here's how service capacity will remain safe.
And what about brakes? The sources really emphasize protecting brakes on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, protecting brakes is non-negotiable for reducing error. If your brakes are repeatedly unsafe to take, your duty is to escalate that.
Escalate it as a systemic issue.
Immediately. To the senior on-site or the site manager, you don't just quietly absorb it.
Okay, and that brings us to the last phase. Formalizing everything.
That's right. Use the formal NHS flexible working pathways, document all the agreements, note review points, and confirm the change on the official Roto system.
So you have an auditable trail. A verbal yes isn't enough.
A verbal agreement is fine to get things moving, but a documented agreement is essential for governance.
I love that the source material gives these model phrases, like saying, I'm submitting this request early with named equivalent cover and a plan to mitigate clinic impact.
It communicates everything, doesn't it? Fairness, safety, proactive management, all in one go.
It really does. So to lock this in, there's a memory hook.
Yes, a really simple one to remember for the exam. Balance.
Okay, let's run through it. B.
B is for girly, the planning.
Right.
Agree, safe cover, that's your mitigation plan.
Okay. Yeah.
Leave and rest protected, your daily safety.
A.
Act on risk. So escalate any unsafe pattern. Note agreements. Document everything. Check
Yes.
back. You need to review the impact of the change.
And finally, E.
Equity. Fairness for your colleagues.
That's fantastic. It covers everything from the first step to the team dynamics. Let's apply this to a couple of common SJT scenarios. First up, the classic shift swap.
Right. This one is all about testing transparency versus secrecy. The rule is simple. Early, transparent requests with safe, skills-matched cover will always rank higher.
And the worst thing to do is?
The secret swap on WhatsApp without telling the Rota coordinator.
Talk us through why that's so dangerous, why it scores so badly.
It's a massive governance risk. It breaks the chain of auditable documentation. If a serious incident happens, the trust is legally required to know exactly who is on duty. A WhatsApp message just doesn't cut it.
You create a hidden gap in the safety chain.
You do, and that's a huge failure of professional responsibility.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. The second scenario is the repeated missed breaks issue, a very real-world problem.
And this one tests escalation versus toleration. The worst action you can take is to just quietly put up with it.
Because that increases your fatigue and your error risk.
Precisely. The high-scoring choice is always to recognize it's a systemic failure and to escalate systemic break issues to a senior or the site team and document that you've done it.
So you're acting as a manager of risk.
Not just a victim of circumstance, exactly.
Right, there's even a model phrase for this, isn't there? Something like,
Break compliance is unsafe today, escalating to site and documenting the risk. It's proactive, professional, and auditable.
okay, that's incredibly clear. And just to reiterate that FAQ, junior doctors really can request this from day one.
A resounding yes. The NHS policy supports it, but the right to ask comes with the duty to plan responsibly.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. The traps, the options designed to catch you out.
Identifying these is critical. They are an immediate low score. Let's run through the big 4 red flags.
Go for it.
Trap 1. Call in sick to avoid asking for a day off. This is just fundamentally dishonest.
It destabilizes the rota last minute.
And it breaches the GMC's requirement for honesty. You never, ever choose the dishonest option.
Okay, what's next?
Trap 2 we've already touched on. Swap on WhatsApp without telling Rota. We know that creates a hidden governance gap.
Right, a failure of professional responsibility.
Exactly. Now, trap 3 is an interesting one because it taps into that unhealthy, old-school medical culture. Trap 3, working 14 days straight to earn time back.
The hero move. I think a lot of people would feel pressured to do that,
Yeah.
to self-sacrifice. Why is that punished so heavily in the SJT?
Because the SJT is testing your managerial capacity, not your stamina. If you work 14 days straight, you are guaranteeing fatigue, you are guaranteeing impairment.
You're failing your duty to work within capacity.
It is the ultimate failure to manage professional risk. The exam prioritizes sensible boundaries, not martyrdom that puts patients at risk.
So that reframes presenteeism as a safety failure.
Yeah.
Okay, and the final trap.
The team culture trap. Trap 4. Refuse all others' requests because you're having trouble getting your own time off.
So that violates the equity principle from our balanced mnemonic.
It does. It shows a lack of reciprocity. It harms team cohesion. You have to protect your own time, yes, but you also have to be fair to your colleagues.
So the golden rule for the exam is fair, Transparent planning with cover and documentation beats secrecy or heroics. Every time.
Every single time. The low scores come from decisions that are last-minute, non-transparent, or put your own impairment above patient safety.
Perfect. To synthesize all this, let's do a few rapid-fire rules. If X happens, you do Y.
Let's do it.
Okay, rule 1. If you see secret or unsafe swaps happening,
You intervene immediately, and you confirm the official rota is updated with skills-matched cover. You fix that governance gap first.
Rule 2. If staffing levels or your own fatigue threaten safety,
You escalate and document the risk to a senior or the site team. You do not push through silently. Your duty is to raise the concern.
Rule 3. A rota change is finally agreed. What's the very next step?
You confirm all the details, names, grades, the mitigation plan, and the official rota system with clear email trail. Make it auditable.
And rule 4, on those dangerously busy days when breaks seem impossible.
You state the risk to the team, you negotiate a timed window for a protected break, and you escalate if that break is repeatedly missed. You have to protect that recovery time.
That brings us to the end of this deep dive. So what are the 3 key takeaways for everyone to walk away with?
Okay, first, always use early, transparent requests. And they must be backed up by safe, skills-matched cover and a risk mitigation plan. That is the foundation.
Right.
Second, proactively protect your rest. Protect your breaks and escalate unsafe patterns systemically. Don't just absorb the risk silently.
And third?
Avoid secrecy or heroics. Use the formal, flexible working routes. Document everything. And remember, the GMC requires you to manage risk by working strictly within your capacity.
And to make sure those professional terms stick, let's do a quick glossary recap. Presenteeism.
That's working despite being impaired or unwell. It's a safety breach.
Flexible work.
Your formal right from day one to request changes to your hours or location.
Safe staffing.
Making sure you have adequate competence and capacity on the floor to deliver safe care.
And finally, the GMC Good Medical Practice 2024.
Those are the ethical and professional standards that anchor all of these decisions about safety and staffing.
Perfect.
And, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this isn't just about your balance. It raises a really important question for you to think about in your real-world practice.
Yeah.
How will you ensure equity and fairness in your team when you're managing these requests, especially when highly desirable dates are scarce and everyone has that day one right to ask? That requires real managerial judgment.
A great question to take forward. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into work-life balance and the SJT exam mindset. Remember, using these transparent professional principles is the key to both exam success and a sustainable career. You can find more guidance and resources at passthemsepare.com. Keep learning and stay safe out there.